Okay, y'all. So, for one, this is not her job, okay? This is just a ban. But I'm sorry for the late video, but listen, a lot of people are sounding the alarm, and I am so glad to see it that a lot of people are now waking up to what's going on in America. We are dealing with the enemy within, and the only way you can do that is to keep talking about it and let everyone know, okay? And also a clip of me in the store today and what I saw that I have never seen before in that store.
Allah, every Muslim on earth believes that democracy is evil and Sharia is the good. Some Muslims, they say we could use the evil of democracy against democracy, so break democracy from within.
I gotta keep it all the way real with y'all, and I know that some of y'all gonna be triggered. You're not gonna like the next words that are gonna come up out of my mouth, but it's gotta be said. The reason we are here, the reason we find ourselves not just in the Western world with this Islamic invasion, but now here in the United States, is our fault. We did this to ourselves. Now, of course, you have the folks in New York who actively voted for Islam to invade them. I mean, willfully, right? As Vladimir Lenin or Stalin may have called the willful idiots. Those who are useful to the establishment, the very same ones who are going to be executed on day 2 of the administration. I'm not just talking about them. I'm talking about us as much as they played a part. See, you have the useful idiot, but then you also have the silent, oftentimes majority. Now, many of us may have heard stories here and there of what was happening overseas, over the pond. And there is a tendency to be arrogant, to be prideful. This is our fall as man, quite literally. It is the original sin, right? It's pride, or believing that we don't necessarily need God to lead us, but instead we can make our own decisions. Or arrogance, which is, that could never happen to me. Self-righteousness, maybe. Nah, I can't see it. Not America. Well, guess what, folks? We are now in a place where not only has Islam made its way into the United States, but check this out. NYPD. Yeah. The same law enforcement department that would likely penalize you for having a cross out on your desk, or God forbid you wearing a cross on your chest outwardly, expressing your faith. That same NYPD is now putting on a show for quote unquote National Hijab Day.
Keep playing them.
Do you feel more comfortable living under American law, or do you feel more comfortable living under Sharia law?
Sharia law. I'm a Muslim. I prefer Sharia law. Sharia law, yes.
You prefer Sharia law over American law?
Of course, yeah. Of course, yeah.
And do you find most of your friends feel the same way?
Yeah, of course. If you're Muslim, yeah.
Sharia law, it says if you steal something, they cut off your hand. So basically, they can leave their stores doors open. Nobody's gonna steal anything because the Sharia is so tight. Usually, they don't do anything. The smallest things usually have big consequences.
He can make his daughter marry somebody.
Yeah, he can. Yeah, he can. He has the authority, you know.
The authority to that.
Yeah, to do that.
We're about to experience the Azan here at Masjid Dar al-Hijra.
So they're about to make the Adhan right now. Bismillah.
The historic moment. Welcome to Minneapolis. Minneapolis, Minnesota. This is where history was made. This is the first major city in the United States of America where the adhan can be broadcast, meaning it can be heard outside the masjid on loudspeakers. This is the story of how Minneapolis became the first American city to pass a bill to allow adhan of all 5 prayers to be heard outside the masjid. How did this happen in America? Why did this happen in Minneapolis? Who were the people behind this? And can this happen all over the US? Historically speaking, the first masjid to be granted the right to call the adhan on loudspeakers was Masjid Dearborn, the American Muslim Society.
This masjid is the first masjid in the United States to make the call to prayer, the adhan, publicly outside. We went to the court against the city of Dearborn in 1981 and we won the case.
After that, in 2004, America's first Muslim majority city, Hamtramck, became the second city where adhan was legalized by the local government when the noise ordinance change was put to a citywide vote. 16 years later, in 2020, the City Council of Patterson, New Jersey authorized the call to prayer between certain hours of the day. But the difference between Dearborn, Hamtramck, Patterson, and Minneapolis is that Minneapolis is the first major US city where adhan has become the law. In the Ramadan of 2020 that took place during the pandemic, Muslims of Minneapolis approached the mayor. They took the initiative and the mayor responded positively. The adhan was broadcast 5 times a day but ended when Ramadan ended. The last year in 2022, the adhan could be broadcast, but due to the noise ordinance, only between 7 a.m. and 10 p.m., which meant that Fajr and Isha were often excluded. But finally in 2023, adhan of all 5 prayers were ready to be broadcast. History was made when the city of Minneapolis signed into law the adhan bill, allowing masajid within the boundaries of Minneapolis to openly call the adhan on loudspeakers.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar.
All right, stop it, because I'm finna get mad. I'm just throwing it out there. It's not compatible with the United States of America. If you want to go do the Amdumala stuff, then go do that in your own country. Go do that where it originated. Don't come over in America. Let's make this very clear. America is a Christian nation. Now, Christians are tolerable, well, meaning that they tolerate other people. If this no longer is run by Christians with Christian theology, it's no longer a tolerant nation. Do y'all understand that? Christianity tolerates religious freedom. We don't cut your head off because you don't believe in Jesus. But the thing is that if they come over here and take over power, then they would begin to implement their Sharia law. Like, do we not understand that our country is gone if we allow this to happen? They're not going to have religious freedom because they don't believe in it. They didn't come from it, and they don't probably bestow that value in their own house. They got to go. For the ones who are nice and cool and reasonable, hey, welcome to the United States of America. For all these clowns, no, it's unacceptable. The federal government needs to step in. It's unacceptable.
So I'm shopping my last order today at Sam's. It's probably my 4th order, maybe 5th. And I've never seen so many Muslims in here like I am right now in this area. But right over there, this is crazy. I've never seen so many here in this particular Walmart in this particular area, so it makes you wonder what is going on, what's happening.
Most Muslim states in USA 2024. Part 1. Number 10. North Carolina. North Carolina's Muslim population, totaling 130,661, or 1.3% of the state's residents, is diverse, including immigrants from Pakistan, Somalia, and Bangladesh, as well as converts. With a rich history spanning over 65 years, the state hosts numerous mosques for worship and community activities. Universities like Duke and UNC Chapel Hill have developed specialized Islamic studies programs, reflecting the community's cultural and academic contributions.
You can't come here and try to override our law.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. So,
and I know many Muslim Americans who don't believe that.
Exactly.
They live and breathe and work.
And they can worship however they want.
Right.
But the Catholic Church allowed in the Vatican Library a prayer room for Muslims, just for interfaith, relations, so that the Muslim scholars could have a place to pray. Yeah, talk about giving a foothold to the devil. I'm a little bit behind, a couple weeks, but I was busy reading this book, How Islam Plans to Change the World. And it's fascinating, the Vatican Council. It's fascinating what it does. I even looked it up, the mosque in Rome. So Islam, they wanted to make a mosque. And so the Vatican Council came in and agreed to it, because they were having a lot of opposition in the area. And look at what they said. This is what they said, that yes, you can make it as long as it's not in the visibility, in the sight of the St. Peter's Basilica, and that the minaret is no taller than the St. Peter's Dome. Because, that's what's important. It's really important that, it's not in sight of the Catholic Church, but, build a massive mosque. It's the largest mosque in all of Europe. And then I was thinking about the whole fact that there's even a church of any kind that thinks that it can coexist with Islam. And what's been going on a lot in America right now, one of the plans is to buy up churches. Buy up churches and put mosque in them. It's a sign of dominance from Islam to show that Christianity is on its way out, which Christianity is on its decline, and then Islam is coming in.
3 churches so far, converted them to masjids, and now we have one we are buying with a school to make it, because we have to serve the same people. We're able to buy ready to go institutions that have been there for a long time, but they emptied out. And now it is time to be filled with Muslims, with reverts, converts.
So right now in America, about, I think it's 15,000 churches are aimed to close in like the next year. That means a lot of Christians are leaving churches, and Islam, they know this. Another fun thing that I found in this book, it said that when Anglican churches in England die out due to non-attendance, their buildings are put up for sale, right? Like most are. But it says that when evangelicals or other Christian groups come in to try and purchase them, they are met with hostility, but then they sell them for a reduced price to Muslims to build a mosque. So even within the so-called Christian space, there's no unity. So how dare any denomination of Christianity sell a church for the formation of a mosque, but not to another denomination? That's crazy. And I've been looking at a lot of the beautiful churches and the cathedrals that are probably going to be blown down, or they're probably going to be bought out by Islam. There's another one in Buffalo that was just bought that's going to be turned into a mosque. They are coming in and they're buying old churches, and it's not about that there's so many Muslims that they're filling them. That's not even it. They have so much money because it's coming from Saudi Arabia. They are actually just pumping in money to show their dominance. So Christians, if they're going to come in as a religion and show who they are, I mean, not that we should have been showing who we are from the beginning. We are the light of the world. From that video, I didn't show it, but he calls it the light of Islam. Islam is a legitimate heresy of Christianity made about 600 years afterwards. And I mean, it literally just attacks the truths of the Bible to form its own religion. And it's here and it's real. They came in the back door, as a lot of people are saying, like a Trojan horse. And it's not something that Christians should be worried about, right? Because Christians, we should not be worried about anything. But I believe that this is a great opportunity for us to turn these Muslims into a mission field.
What in the F is going on in Minnesota with these Somalians? Let me just say this, because I'm a person of color, they say. And I'm not the one to jump on a bandwagon and say, America is not white no more, so all the brown people are destroying America. No, it's these dummies. It's these evil people. They didn't got these people in our country, and they giving them taxpayer dollars, doing fraud and all kind of stuff. Listen, put it up on the screen. Black people do the same thing. And all these other people do the same thing. And the problem is, in my personal opinion, is not necessarily just the color. It's the fact that y'all done brought these people into our country that do not share our values. I don't think it has nothing to do with color and culture. And it's probably some Somalians that are really good people that love the American dream, that's doing the right thing. They came over here legally and all of the above. And then you got your remnant like this, doing fraud. $250 million fraud. 250 mil. 250 mil. Roll the clip.
$250 million fraud scheme. Already 77 people, many of them Somali immigrants, have been charged in one of the largest taxpayer-funded scams in U.S. history. Minnesota, home to the largest Somali community in America, has become the center of this massive investigation. This is the Feeding Our Future scandal, a pandemic-era scheme in which defendants allegedly stole over $250 million meant to provide meals for low-income children. Instead of feeding kids, prosecutors say the money went toward luxury homes, high-end cars, jewelry, overseas transfers, and an entire network of shell companies. According to the DOJ, the conspirators submitted fake invoices, fabricated meal counts, and even staged photos to make it look like they were serving millions of meals that never existed. In some cases, they claimed to feed more children than lived in entire neighborhoods. A federal jury found Amy Bach, the founder of Feeding Our Future, and Salim Ahmed Saeed guilty of conspiracy, bribery, wire fraud, money laundering. Federal officials say more arrests may still be coming.
They had to you that white girl, get them loans and stuff. But look, let me say this. Somebody knew that this was a fraudulent situation a long time ago. Everybody can see it. Everybody in Minneapolis are probably looking at themselves and saying, well, we knew they were doing fraud anyway. We see them driving these kind of cars. We see them living in these kind of buildings, and we know they can't even speak English. They only have a job. We know something is going on. They probably complain to the government 100 times in Minneapolis or in Minnesota. Complain to the governor 100 times. These people doing fraud. But these woke people are sitting here acting like they're virtue signaling because they don't want to make people look bad. They're virtue signaling. It's crazy to me. I was supposed to talk about the Ukrainian deal. We'll get to that in a second. I got to talk about this. I think this is even crazier than the Ukraine peace deal. They already killed enough people over there. We done gave them $400+ billion. We'll talk about that in a second. So let's go to the other clip 101, because there's more evidence to this craziness. Roll it.
Officers from our Fraud Detection and National Security Directorate, working in teams, have conducted over 1,000 site visits across the Minneapolis-St. Paul area as part of this operation. What they found should shock all of America. Focusing on a list of over 1,000 target cases involving more than 900 individuals, our officers encountered blatant marriage fraud, visa overstays, people claiming to work at businesses that can't be found, forged documents, abuse of the H-1B visa system, abuse of the F-1 visas, and many other discrepancies. Over the course of the operation, our officers found indication of fraud, non-compliance, or public safety and national security concerns in nearly a little less than 50% of the cases interviewed. We found troubling patterns with the Uniting for Ukraine program that should have raised serious concerns under other administrations, such as an individual filing to sponsor more than 100 aliens and organizations sponsoring hundreds. We are continuing to investigate these cases. Some of the other troubling cases that our officers found. In one case, officers identified an alien who had overstayed his visa waiver, who was the son of a known or suspected terrorist on the no-fly list. He had previously been found to have engaged in marriage fraud, which resulted in the denial of several immigration benefit requests. He was arrested and is now presently being returned to his country of origin.
Are you shocked? Are you shocked? I'm not shocked. This is what they do. And I'm not saying just Somalians. This is what immigrants do that don't assimilate. This is what happens when you make our system lack or laxed. This is what they do. Now, this is another instance of tax fraud and SNAP manipulation. And Somalians are 42% of this. They 42% of this. Roll the clip.
42 million people in this country that need food stamps on a weekly basis. And we're saying people deliberately instead of Americans, because most of the people that are on food stamps aren't even from this country. 45% of Afghanistan immigrants are on food stamps. 42% of Somali immigrants, 34% of every immigrant from Iraq, 23% of Haitians, 59% of all illegal aliens are collecting food stamps, meaning that most of the people getting food stamps from the U.S. government and the U.S. taxpayer are not even Americans.
And then people say, you crazy, Brandon, for saying this. You crazy for saying it. Y'all crazy. Y'all just hate immigrants. This is xenophobia. They doing fraud, bruh. And I put this on my life. 59% of all illegal aliens who are receiving SNAP benefits outspends the entire budget that we give to foreign aid. I put that on my life that they're getting more money from your taxpayer dollars here in America through fraud than we give to Israel.
On the record that his company, Leo Human Services, ripped off taxpayers to the tune of $2.7 million while falsely claiming to help 250 people find housing.
How would you describe that $14,000 that was billed to your Medicaid?
Fraud. On every level.
I never met with them. I've never even seen them.
Carol Evan first began investigating the BMW driving business owner earlier this year.
We have so much work to do. I mean, I'm being asked questions here.
Well, people say you're not doing work, that you're billing thousands of dollars for work that's not being done.
Come on, man. Let's take the proper channels, man. I'm doing everything I am correctly.
But that was not true. CARE's investigation exposed a family fraud factory operating out of this Blaine home. Assad's brother, Anwar Adow, was running another HSS company called Liberty Plus, also stealing from taxpayers and preying on vulnerable Minnesotans desperate to find a home.
And you're sitting there in the cold thinking, okay, any day now, any day now. And that any day never comes.
When agents raided the Adow brothers' home, they seized stacks of cash, tens of thousands of dollars hidden under a mattress and in a suitcase beneath the stairs. He fraudulently billed to lease that BMW and buy property in Kenya.
How much money did you move overseas?
Both he and his brother have now pled guilty to wire fraud and face 4 to 5 years in prison when sentenced.
And the Minneapolis Police Department are coming after them and making arrests duly done on behalf of the constituency, on behalf of the people of Minnesota, the taxpayers. And this is what the chief had to say at a press conference with a whole bunch of Somalians behind him. One of them wrapped in a blanket. This fool, pig in a blanket. Roll a clip. We live in America. Why is she speaking a foreign language at a press conference that the chief is speaking at? Look at this. This is a foreign country with a white man running it. That's what this is, a foreign country. I bet you $1 million, at least half of them don't speak English properly. Either can't speak it or broken English. They out here patrolling the streets and take a call for service. I don't know English. You're a police officer.
The Somali community here in Minneapolis has been welcoming and has shown love towards me, and I appreciate it. Over the last 3 years, we have been working together to try and address some of the real serious problems that we have in our community. We have to. I apologize, and I'm sorry for that, because that's not my intention at all.
You apologize for investigating $1 billion plus worth of probably fraud. They already at about 300 million.
Here's to the good days, here's to the sorrows. If this is a mistake, I know about tomorrow. I don't wanna fight no more, cause I don't feel the need no more, no. Just wanna make it stop.